All right. Well, thank you so much, Mark, for having me today. Uh, it is so I know you guys are in the Philippines. I'm actually on the East Coast of America right now. I'm in Virginia. So I know it's Saturday morning for you guys. It's Friday night here, but I wouldn't want to spend my Friday night doing anything else rather than besides sharing more about movement and the move language. So yeah, thank you so much for having me, Mark. I'm really excited that I could be like the first person on this series. I really think what we're building is super cool. We're building some really cool tech that, at the end of the day, just one is just there to make it easier for developers to get started like building in this space. And I mean, yeah, I'll cover it shortly. But yeah, my name is Shayan. I'm a DevRel engineer at Movement Labs. And prior to becoming DevRel at Movement, I was a Move smart contract engineer. I was working on um, projects first in Aptos, then Sui, just like a smart contract developer on Aptos, then Sui. And then when I was building on Sui, this was, um, yeah, around like the end of like November 2022. That's when I first was able to meet the Miston Labs, like the creators of Sui team in person at the very first Sui Builder House in Lisbon, Portugal. And it was then that, yeah, like I said, I met the team and when I was there, I gave a presentation on Move, similar to like the presentation I'll be giving today. And a lot of that presentation, before I even knew it, was the foundation of what I would be doing as a DevRel later on at Sui, now at Movement. So I've been doing DevRel for almost 2 years now. Like doing DevRel like work for almost 2 years now. I was at Sui before, like I said, I'm at Movement now, so definitely not my first rodeo with the Move language, Move blockchains, and I'm really passionate about being able to share this information with developers from all over the world and help them get started building on Movement. So today in this presentation, we'll cover 5 things. First, we'll give an overview of Movement. Next, we'll cover the Move virtual machine. Next, we'll talk about the Move language itself. 4 is the architectural overview of the movement network. And 5, additional resources. So first, let's start with, why should we use the MoveVM to begin with? There's the Ethereum VM, EVM, there is the C-level VM, the Solana VM, there's Cosm Wasm. Why go through the pain and hassle of creating a brand new VM altogether, a new smart contract language for it, a new programming paradigm? Why should we go through all these lengths to when there are these pre-existing VMs already out there? So first, before we talk about that, let's give some context. Currently, Solidity is commonly used as a smart contract language, but it's very prone to attacks. As of date, over 7.6 billion US dollars in value has been hacked due to various exploits on EVM blockchains. You can see this pie chart of the reasons why the various hacks occurred. As you can see, the biggest section, the biggest slice is private key compromise. Next goes access control exploit, etc., etc. So currently, many educators and security experts are helping to improve this. That's why auditing firms have become so popular, right? People nowadays are very hesitant to deploy a contract on any blockchain without having it audited first, and for good reason, right? So there are many people in the space working with the EVM and working to help improve it. But what if we could provide devs with another environment altogether? And that's where Move comes in. So the Move language itself was first introduced by the Libra/DM project at Facebook. So they're the ones that created the Move language and the Move VM. And one of the biggest things that it provided was a brand new paradigm when it comes to programming on the blockchain or on blockchains in general, right? a resource-oriented programming model. So EVM, if you don't know already, has an account-based programming model. One of the biggest things that this accomplishes is that this focuses on enhancing the management of digital assets. So in the EVM space, where you don't have a clear representation of what an asset is, in the EVM, you don't actually own assets. When you own a token or you own an NFT, all you really own is a key value pair in the original contract that instantiated that particular token or NFT. Whereas in Move, you actually own the resource of that token or that coin. And we're going to talk about why that's important shortly. Move supports formal verification of smart contracts, allowing developers at runtime to know what resources their contracts, their functions are touching, and why, what it's doing, and what objects it's touching. This is super important because it just helps smart contract readability. So if whether you're a developer or an auditor, it just helps that process more by being able to know exactly what a function is doing from the parameters it takes. And currently, Move is used in Aptos and Sui, and most recently, Movement. So some key concepts in Move include that data should be stored within the account that owns it, not the account that published the module. So that goes back to what I was talking earlier. So for example, if you do own a token in Ethereum, you don't actually, when you look at the bytecode of what it means to actually own that token, the only thing that proves your ownership is that key value pair in the contract that instantiated it. So if you can imagine, if there's a very hot token all of a sudden and everyone's minting it, there are a lot of contract calls to that contract in particular. So when it comes to the parallelization of the VM, it strongly hinders it. Another key concept is that data flow should have minimal constraints with an emphasis on ecosystem usability. What this means is that, again, going back to what I said, because you now own the assets, if you want to create more complex patterns, like if you want to create more complex DeFi products, you're able to have more flexibility in that regard because you're able to pass in these resources as parameters to functions that otherwise would have never been able to communicate with other functions in the EVM space, for example. Move prefers static type safety over runtime safety via generics. So what does that mean? It means by taking every parameter, by looking at every parameter, you're able to tell what type it is. You're able to tell if a certain parameter is a token, a U64, an integer, a Boolean, etc. So because you're able to tell what types are being used when you are calling a function, or even if you're like writing a function or auditing one, you're able to, like what I said earlier, you're able to know exactly what you need to use and why it's being used. And then finally, one of the biggest key concepts in Move is that a signer should be required to restrict access to adding or removing assets to an account unless it's explicitly clear. So again, that goes back to, like, let's say, for example, if you want to add liquidity to a pool, right? Only you, the owner of that account, like with your private key, you're able to then sign a transaction that says, yes, I want to add or remove liquidity, etc. It's a pretty basic concept, but it's nevertheless super important. It's one of the core reasons why blockchain technology exists, right? That you, as the owner, as the signer, have explicit control of everything you want to do, of whatever you want to do. And then finally, earlier I said that Move is resource oriented. So what is resource oriented programming in this regard? Resource oriented programming focuses on managing resources such as memory in a way that is more explicit and controlled. So again, everything in Move, every token, every NFT, etc., is a resource, and Move operates on these resources directly. And like I said, resources can be digital assets. So like NFTs, tokens, fungible tokens, or identities. So think of like a movement name service. If I want to be like Shayan.move, that name service is also a resource. And in resource-oriented programming, ownership and transfer rules are very explicit. Resources are moved rather than copied. So what that means is if I have a token, for example, let's say I have like 10 wrapped Bitcoin, like maybe that's too much. Maybe you have like 0.1 wrapped Bitcoin on movement, right? In the EVM, if I want to transfer that 0.1 Bitcoin, wrapped Bitcoin over to someone, essentially what that looks like is in the actual wrapped Bitcoin contract, it subtracts 0.1 from my address and adds 0.1 to the recipient's address. So again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you have a bunch of people trying to make these transfers at the same time, they're all going to be hitting that same contract, and that's going to cause a lot of bloat because you're not able to achieve parallelization in this regard because the data availability layer, the mempool essentially needs to know when exactly did these transactions occur. And as a result, you're not able to achieve parallelization. And then one fun fact is that, like I said, resources are moved. So yeah, in Move, because you're not looking at the contract anymore, because you're actually taking that like wrapped Bitcoin, taking it away from my account, and you're appending it to someone else's, the resource itself is being moved. And that's actually where the name of the language move comes from, the fact that you actually move resources. So what are some benefits? So for example, take a look at this example game that I have created, just some code, right? So even if you've never seen Move in your life, I think one of the biggest benefits to writing Move, being able to read it, is that the function, even if there were no comments here, it's very similar. Like the logic is very similar to plain English. So let's take a look at this. Public entry function is essentially a function that anybody can call. This is for an RPG game, for example. So let's say in this game you're controlling a character, a hero, and when you want to equip an item like a sword or a shield or something, he or she will call this function. So this function takes 3 parameters: hero, a mutable reference to the hero object. The next is the item, so like the sword or whatever that you want to equip. And the last parameter is a mutable reference to your inventory. So even if I ignore the comments, I'll just read like the code itself. If has equipped item, so if the hero is already equipping an item, you want to take the old item and put it back into the inventory. And then the hero will then move the old item to the inventory, and then you equip the new one. Vector pushback, hero.equipment item. So I think, like I said, if you've never seen this before, it might be a little confusing still, but the logic is very similar to what you would see in plain English. So by being able to reason through, if you can imagine, if you have a very complicated like DeFi contract and you have thousands of lines, it makes it a lot easier if you're able to tell what every function is doing just by reading the actual function itself. So one of the biggest questions is, why movement? Aptos and Sui already exist. What does movement bring to the table? I think one of the coolest things that we bring to the table is that we're essentially bringing the MoveVM to Ethereum, because Aptos and Sui are standalone L1s, right? Everything from consensus to execution, data availability, etc., they all handle that themselves. They're a monolith. But Movement's architecture is modular. So how does it come together? Essentially, you can think of Movement in 3 different pieces. The execution layer is the actual Movement network itself, right? Whenever you're calling function, like the function you saw earlier, that function is executed on Movement. Movement is using Celestia for data availability. So whenever a transaction goes into a mempool, it's the transactions are arranged via Celestia. And then finally, once the DA layer Celestia has selected what transactions belong in what order, it is finally settled to Ethereum. So that was at like the highest level, like a quick overview of movement. And two resources that I want to share with you all before we open the floor for questions is the developer portal, the QR code on the left. So if you are interested in building on movement, the developer portal is a one-stop shop for everything you need. If you've never written a single line of Move in your life, you can go there to learn. If you're a Move intermediate or expert, you can go here and look at more advanced examples and more advanced patterns, and you're able to learn more there. And then the QR code on the right is a link to our Telegram builder group. And this group essentially is a place where all movement developers can ask questions, show what they're building, etc. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. I know like it's Saturday morning, so I really appreciate you guys for coming here and tuning in right now. And yeah, I'd like to just open the floor for questions now.
All right. Thanks, Shayan. Anyone guys have question?
I think
Maybe
yeah, they
I
can.
do have one.
Oh yeah, please go ahead.
I think movement, at least the main, like, is it a layer two? The moment you're setting
Yes,
up a layer two for Ethereum. When's the
yes.
target,
So
like, mainnet launch for movement?
yeah, so with regards to when we want to launch mainnet, it is scheduled to come Q1 of this year.
Nice, nice. Okay, I think we have one question from Renzo. Go ahead.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, so I would just like to know what's the current status of the builders as of now, and what are your projections on, like, how many people are building on movement right now?
Yeah, of course. So if you look at I'm looking at it right now, the Move Builder group on Telegram, right? As of right now, I think like with the last person that joined actually just hit 900 people. So that's pretty insane. So I'm very happy to see that right now. Actually, we just hit 900 members in the Move Builders Telegram group chat. And then besides like the number of people in this channel, we have, I want to say, 20 or so projects, like actual like dedicated projects who are building on us, who are scheduled to go live with us. And of those 20 projects, maybe like the average size is like 5, right? So I want to say somewhere in the ballpark, if I had to guess, and these aren't like concrete numbers, if I had to guess, we have somewhere in the ballpark of like 100 like core like dedicated developers. But then, as you might know, like a blockchain is like more than developers, right? It's the users, like the enthusiasts, like people. We have a huge community called the Guerrilla Movers. They're an NFT community, and they're a group that like shows up like in huge numbers into like IRL events. I'm not. There's definitely some developers, some builders in there, but the entire like ecosystem and the entire community altogether is. So the number I said was just developers. If you like look beyond that, I'm sure that number exceeds like goes like well into like the thousands, several thousands, right?
Just a follow-up question. Care to share any DeFi projects in Move? Because the context of why I'm asking is that I'm currently delving into how DeFi really works. Care to share some projects in DeFi in Move?
Yeah, of course. So I'm like unfortunately going to be missing a few. Actually, let me see if I can like look in that group chat and find some off the top, like find um some projects that that I'm speaking to that I can like definitely uh vouch for are Canopy, Echelon. Looking through this now, Move Fun Meme, like a Pump.Fun. Yeah, like look, something like a Pump.Fun on Move. We have a very cool group called Move with Friends. They're doing a whole lot of stuff. Mosaic team, they're building a lot of DeFi products. They're building a lot of like cool open source tools as well. Route X, They were building a club. When I spoke to the founder, he said they want to become the Jupiter of movement. So we have a lot of like ambitious teams who are looking to do a lot.
Okay, last question. Do we have like a directory of those projects?
Yeah, I actually was gonna share that later. Let me find it right now. Um, Here we go. So yeah, this is probably going to do a lot better job than I can remembering everything. I just sent it in the chat. The website is movementnetwork.xyz/ecosystem. And awesome. Yeah, as soon as you open it, you can see all the projects. Echelon, Shuriken, DSIG, Gov, I'm not sure, Chainsite, Babylon, etc. Staked Move. There's a whole bunch. Yeah. Sorry if I missed. If you're watching this at a future time, sorry if I missed you. There's a lot.
Yep. Thanks. That's all I wanted to know. I mean, I understand that movement is still new, and I wanted to see what kind of projects are being built here. Oh yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
thanks.
of course. Yeah, this is going to be like the most comprehensive link.
Thank you, Renzo. Yeah, well, let's call on another one who has a question. NFT Davao,
Hi,
please open your
GM.
mic.
I am
Jim.
audible.
Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
we can hear you.
Yeah. Hi. By the way, I'm Jill from Native Davao, a local community here, southern part of Mindanao. So my question is, how does Movement Labs differentiate from other blockchain platforms? Because I know there are some blockchain platforms also that are focusing on web devs. So how it differentiate from the other blockchain network?
Yeah. So I would say first and foremost, the biggest difference from movement and other blockchains is the fact that we use the Move programming language, the MoveVM. I think like
Sorry,
one of
it's
the
muted.
Yeah, maybe you can answer this first, Shayan. From Frederick on the chat. I have a question. As I open the developer portal link, should we start it? I don't know what question is about. Should we
um
start it?
oh yeah, I see his question. So should we start it? So that's totally up to you, right? The developer portal is designed in such a way that we know that there's going to be people of various backgrounds, experience levels diving into Move, right? So if you're a complete beginner, if you've never been Move before, I recommend starting like the beginner sections. If you're an advanced developer, feel free to dive into that. So yeah, like I said, you can take it however you want.
Oh, nice. So, follow-up question. So, what are the types of projects or industries is Movements Labs targeting as of now?
Yeah, we have everything under the sky. Anything you can think of, like we have like a project in that category. So be it DeFi, gaming, AI, social, we have everything. And yeah, if you take a look at the movement network ecosystem page that I linked, you'll be able to see like every project.
Okay, sounds good. So, hopefully, we can dig deep uh, this new network. And thanks, guys. I think that's all.
Cool.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jill. Yeah, I think they're really building some interesting projects there in Davao. I think we also have one question from Ryan. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hi, GM right here from AI Ozaki Dao. So I'm not actually a full-time builder right now, but I'm looking to delve into AI agents. But I just want to know your personal alpha, or if you're what do you call this? Sorry. Um can you give us an alpha with an AI agent building on movement right now?
I have a lot of alpha. I think the best regarding like movement and AI, especially, all I can say is we have a pretty big announcement that we hopefully will get down the line in 1 to 2 weeks. So keep an eye on our socials, especially if you're like beginning to do some like development in that space in particular regarding AI agents. I think this announcement will interest you a lot.
Oh, that's nice to hear, bro. I'm excited. Hopefully, we can see that after 1 to 2 weeks.
Yes, I'm trying to get it across the finish line, hopefully by next week. But I think it would be more, yeah, between next week and the week after. But we'll definitely announce something big then, and like, especially if you're a developer, just uh, stay tuned. That's all I can. That's all I'll say for now.
You're holding something, bro. You need to spit it out.
Hey, you said it's alpha, right? I can't spill all the beans immediately.
Yeah, yeah. But thank you. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward with the movement.
Of course.
Let's move. All right. One more. So I dropped guys their link tree. So you can follow all the links, all their social media, all the communities related to Move. Maybe a last question, if there's any, from Jerome.
GM. So you said earlier that Move ecosystem have everything, but I was just curious if are there any remaining projects or ideas Move would love to see built on Move ecosystem?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think in terms of look like when I said everything, that we're covering all the basics of DeFi, right? So we have swaps, aggregators, clubs, lending, borrowing, etc. Stables. We have like no our own native stable coin, right? So we have all the core like DeFi projects, right? That in my opinion are necessary for a blockchain ecosystem to be successful. We have socials like decentralized social uh, projects. We have DPIN projects. I think the biggest use case, the biggest apps, the biggest use cases are the ones that no one has seen yet, right? So, there once was a time before pump.fun existed, right? Like, what did we do for meme coins before then? One of the biggest things that pump.fun brought to the table was that it like ushered like this brand new paradigm. Like, it really, maybe I don't want to say like kickstarted Solana DeFi because Solana DeFi was already very strong to begin with, but it definitely like accelerated its trajectory like 10 or 100x. So I think one of the biggest like pros or like to go back to your question, what is missing? I think the biggest thing that's missing is that new idea that nobody knows yet, right? I think most recently it was AI. Like even like a month or two ago, you would only hear murmurs about AI, and now all of a sudden AI agents are all over Twitter. So I think one of the biggest things in crypto is, the tides are always changing. It feels like there's a new narrative, there's a new meta, whatever, like once a week. So I think the most successful people, or the most successful projects, builders, even like traders, right, are the ones that are able to either like identify new trends and ride them early, or this is rarer, but like the risk to reward is even greater. Not just finding these opportunities, these new metas, but being able to create them, right? AI 16Z is like I'm not sure if it was the first AI agent, but it was definitely like one of the first and really popularized it. There's also virtuals. They were also doing a lot like back in the day. I say back in the day, just a few months ago, right? But besides like finding new opportunities and capitalizing on them, it's very important to be able to, like I said, create the wave altogether. So, and that's literally like the $1 million question. What is the next big thing? Hopefully, you'll figure it out, man. And if you do, there's a lot of upside for you. But yeah, our job at Movement is to support everyone who is looking to either like create these waves or to ride them equally.
Okay, that's clear and thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Jiro. Maybe before we end this, maybe may I ask everyone to. Ah, there's one more question from Ellie, one of my colleagues. Yeah, so let me read this question. Do you consider PH as a dev country, and what are the upcoming activities you have in mind for the Philippines?
So I am like to be honest, I've never been to the Philippines before. I've been to other countries in Southeast Asia for like crypto, right? Most recently, I was in Bangkok for DevCon. Before that, I was in Singapore for Token 2049. I've been in Vietnam before for like whatever I think GM Vietnam. I forgot the name. I think for like a similar crypto conference. So I've been to Southeast Asia. I've never been to Philippines though. But from what I've heard, because like for what it's worth, going to Southeast Asia attracts developers from other Southeast Asian countries. So I have had the uh, I have been able to like to speak to Filipino developers from yeah at these other events, and I would say yeah, I definitely am bullish on Philippines. I definitely do want to do more developer activations in particular, and or not am but I should say is that like one of our like weak spots like our like the movements like weak spots is that unfortunately we don't have any uh like yeah, we don't have anyone like based in Philippines, so it is hard for us to like gauge that landscape. But you know, like I'm connected with Mark now, so Mark, like in a few weeks, you know, let's talk about like are there
Wait,
any like
wait,
upcoming
wait.
like
I made si ate.
Sorry for that. Yeah, go ahead, Shayan. Yeah, looking forward to have more collaboration work with you guys.
yeah, like I said, like if there's like any like conference, DM me, and we'll see how we can try to support. So yeah, I would say like to answer your question, um like with regards to like what we can do, like do I consider it Philippines dev country? Yes. What are upcoming activities we have in mind? I'm down to cook on that together. Like you have my contact information. You know, I'm talking to Mark now, so you can message him. You can message me directly, and I'll be like very happy to help you guys out however I can or however like we can. I move it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's move.
It
Yeah,
is time
pay
to
us a
visit
visit.
PH.
Yeah.
So I guess I have a question for you guys now. Like, and Mark, maybe you can help answer like the other people in the chat. If we were to come to Philippines, is Manila like the city we should go? Like, is that where like most of the developers are?
Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, we'll have probably different answers, but um, yeah, it's a
Hello.
good start probably. Sure. Go ahead, Ellie. I'll
Yeah,
leave the
sure.
other.
Cheyenne. So yeah, again, my name is Ellie. Um, I would not really say Manila is like a good place to go. When you are planning to do DevRels activations here in the Philippines. The good thing is that we've been doing DevRels for various protocols and different foundations for quite some time since 2017. And we've already mapped out like hotspot in the Philippines with like a high concentration of developers. So definitely this is something that we could discuss and talk about. You have Mark as well. Mark is really a good devrel. He did devrels for several protocols already, and most of them are Rust based and using Move framework as well. So I think that's an advantage. And yeah, we'll definitely be more than happy to help you get into the forefront of those hotspot location in the Philippines with the high dev concentration as well that we could bring in, to move protocol. For sure, that would be the best goal for this year.
Awesome. That's I love to hear it. And yeah, um, don't treat this like session as like a one and done. You know, like I'm here to talk. Like you'll never see me again, right? I definitely do want to like establish some bonds. It's like you said, we can like collaborate. We can cook like further down the line. Like if there is like a conference or if we can do like a one-off event, we can definitely support you guys in that regard.
Sure, thank you, Cheyenne. Let's move.
Thank you, Shayan.
Let's
Thank you,
move.
Shayan. Maybe just one more activity. If you can show your faces, guys. Let's have a virtual photo ops.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Let's do it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll take some picture. If you're ready. Okay, let's wait for the others. Maybe their camera's warming up. Right, let's wait. A few more seconds. All right. 1, 2, 3, smile. One more. 1, 2, 3. All right. So guys, thanks Shayan. I really appreciate it for lending me your time. And yeah, looking forward to work more with movement. Let's move.
Yeah,
For all the
thank you so much,
guys.
Ian.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh
Thanks.
no, no, I
Thanks.
was just gonna say thank you
Everyone.
so much for having me. I was very happy to speak. Very happy to see you guys, talk to you guys, answer your questions. And yeah, I dropped the links to like the builder chat, like my personal Twitter. Feel free to send me messages, either in Telegram or on Twitter, and I'll answer whenever I can. So yeah, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do so. I'm really excited to, like I said, I've never been to Philippines. I really want to come, and I really do want to meet you guys and like build and work together. I'm bullish on you guys.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I think it's a bye for now. And yeah, see you soon again.
Okay, thank you
Thanks
again so much.
everyone.
Have a good morning, everyone. Bye.